3, 2, 1.
What is going on, Southwest ISD? What is going on? I'm your man, Brandon Medina, here as always with my tag team partner, not the Robin to my Batman, but the Batman to my Robin. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. You're starting with like nice things today.
Your favorite reader in all of America, Mr. Peter Wagner, your athletic director, here with us, of course, as always, every week. We are here. This is Scoreboard. Thank you for tuning in and making this your number one stop shop for all things Southwest ISD athletics. Mr. Wagner, how are we doing, sir?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for waiting for me today.
Oh, dude, happily. We talked about a lot of different things because we have a very special guest, which we'll get into later. A very special one.
Very special one.
Yeah, one that's been around for a very long time, and the voice of one of
Southwest ISD.
Yeah, exactly. Of Southwest ISD as a
big
whole.
Game.
Big game's
When
coming
there's
up.
a big game, he's there.
That's right.
With a sweet haircut.
Yes, we know him and love him, and we'll talk about him here soon. But before we do, let's get into kind of the week as a whole. Anybody we need to talk about, any recognitions, and all the good stuff happening around Southwest ISD. Mr. Wagner, what's going on?
Man, we had a great week last week. I want to start off with the Dragons girls volleyball team. They are the SAISD tournament champions.
Nice.
And everything, and got our first look at the Fire and Armor volleyball matchups over there. That was a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Our guest was there too, watching that one, and there's some special stuff going on.
Definitely.
The Dragons, to stay with them, they win the tournament. Then on Tuesday night, they had a barn burner, a 5-set barn burner with Judson's Vets Memorial.
Okay.
And that was crazy. They lost first game, come back and win the second one 26-24, lose the third one 26-24.
Gosh.
And then, it was they won, and then the middle two were 26-24, and then they won 15-11 on the fifth one.
Nice.
And stuff. I mean, it was
just competing.
It was good. It was awesome. It was some serious competition. It was awesome. And then the Lady Titans got another W, so
there we go.
So we're on the winning track, sir.
Starting early.
Yeah.
Starting early winning.
We started up with cross country last weekend. We'll talk about them a little bit here in a second when we talk about our players of the week.
We'll be talking about cross country quite a bit, I'm sure, this year.
But I'll say they off to a good start. Cross country they're not all full on. You gotta kind of work your way into running as fast as you ride on your bike.
Yeah,
so
I would know nothing about it, but I'm happy to talk about it. So happy to dive into these stats.
Brandon's like that guy on the Wii. You know what I mean? He's like he gonna run cross country on the Wii and just use his hands.
Yeah, I'd be the one that buys a Peloton just for the show.
Just so you can watch that guy.
Just so I can watch that dude. Just to jam to the playlist.
That's
it. Just for the playlist.
It's like Zumba on a bike, but you don't actually pedal.
I'm just sitting there.
Go back and forth.
Jamming out. Man, you guys are really working hard. I'm giving virtual high fives everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
But definitely, we're going to be talking about cross country a lot this
Tennis
year.
is still on their winning ways, and at Legacy, they got a big one on Thursday against McCollum. They open up district play on Thursday.
Nice.
In other news, unfortunately, the Dragon tennis team got rained out. Do anybody know what rain is? That phenomenon of rain?
Got a lot of it recently.
Yeah,
just
somehow,
over the past
did you
2
see
days.
that cold front that came in? It was like 94 degrees.
Someone turned the AC down in Texas for a little bit.
Somebody did.
They asked us to conserve energy, and Texas did just that. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. And so we had tennis. Water polo is still undefeated right now. They got a big tournament this weekend. So we got a big weekend at Southwest. So let's talk about what's coming up this week. So obviously, football Friday night starts up tomorrow. We got Peanut Butter Bowl. Bring your peanut butter tomorrow night if you haven't brought it. But the Dragons take on Lockhart at the steamy 7 o'clock time slot. And then the Titans open up in the Big Ten on Fox 10 a.m. game of the week at Alamo Stadium. But they take on Burbank and their Peanut Butter Bowl. So hopefully this is that one time you get to go watch them both, no problem. You know what I mean? They're not playing the same night, so you get to get your first one and get out there in the morning and do that one. So excited about that. But we got volleyball, SWISD volleyball tournament going on as we speak right now. Both Dragons and Titans got wins in the early slot, and then they'll be playing all day today, tomorrow, and Saturday. And then we got our first water polo tournament, sir.
There we go.
We got teams coming from Austin and PSJA down in the valley and everything all weekend. So we're doing that, and then still running cross country.
It doesn't stop over here at Southwest
Does
ISD.
not stop, sir. So
this is it.
Having a good time.
All righty. So any recognition, sir, that we need to get into
before
we go into
I tried to practice my reading skills
I got
from last
you.
week.
I trust it, sir.
Because
I'm never gonna call you out.
So
sir.
I never. You're just gonna do sponsor shots.
That's right.
Yeah, I got you. So we're gonna start with some girls water polo. We got players of the week from girls water polo this week. So Coach Moore from Southwest, number 6, Naya Rutherford is the girls player of the week. This is Naya's first year ever playing water polo.
Nice.
Which is a lot. As a sophomore, she is leading the charge for our Lady Dragons. Thanks to her speed in the water and quick decision-making skills, Naya is one of our most well-rounded players. Whether she's stealing the ball or scoring, her impact in the pool cannot be ignored. So great job, Naya.
Good job, Naya.
There you go. And then we're going to go to boys cross country, and we're going to go to Southwest again here.
Okay.
And stuff. Let me
Good
having
old.
some technical difficulties. Now, here we go. All right.
Right back on track.
We're boom, just little speed bump. All right. So at Coach Alvarez at Southwest for Southwest Cross Country, the player of the week this week, Roman Gonzalez, who's a junior, who's a multi-sport athlete at Southwest High School. He runs cross country and is a part of the soccer team. Let's go. There you see. There's your boys. We should have brought Palomo, and we're already talking about soccer.
I'm telling you.
I mean, it's not even September yet.
Chief is the number one biggest fan.
I know.
Southwest ISD
so
soccer.
at the Floresville Invitational last week, Roman placed 42nd out of 147 runners with a time of 19:05. He is a hard-working leader who constantly makes others around him better.
That's what we like to hear, man.
So let's go. He almost sounds like you. You know,
we
were talking a little bit earlier.
Doesn't make everybody better, but makes them a lot.
The team psychologist.
That's right.
Was Brandon Medina.
Sounds a lot more athletic, but definitely big shout out to you, sir.
Let's see here. All right, we're going to Legacy. At Legacy, the player of the week is.
Let me hear it.
Got Caitlin Castillo is our player of the week. She is the starting goalie for our Southwest Lady Titans. Here's the deal about being goalie, Brandon. I think if we gave you some floaties,
100%,
I think you could play goalie right now.
I think I could do it.
Right
now at the level of
maybe
them,
on a tube. I don't know.
Floaties
might be a little advanced.
But I'm definitely saving everything.
You can do it.
Yeah. I'm big enough to save everything you throw at me. So I'm keeping it wide.
Just take up the whole
the
goal.
Space.
Here we go. So this week she has stepped up for the team and displayed leadership skills. I love to hear that. She continues to show much growth, and it's only the start for the season. And like I said, the water polo group is doing a great job. And then obviously we are talking about cross country.
Yep.
So
of course,
who do you think we might be talking about today just a little bit?
Somebody from Legacy.
Somebody from Legacy, you're correct.
Let's take a guess, everybody. Here we go.
Who could it be? I'm going to go with Anthony Zapata.
None other than
our
Anthony. State rep, Anthony Zapata.
So, but I do have a couple other things too, though. So Anthony placed 5th this week at Floresville.
Nice.
There's some pretty tough competition. Did a great job. He ran 16 minutes, just getting started. It took him 16 minutes to run 3 miles and stuff. So, I mean, like I said, I don't know if you could do 16 minutes on a gator.
I don't know if I could do 16 minutes on half of one. Half a mile.
Touche, sir.
Come on now.
But so as we know all about Anthony, leader, hard worker, state qualifier. But you know what? I also want to bring up a couple of things with the Legacy team is their girls are on another track, I think, to take another leap in terms of winning the district again. They got 3 good ones. You got Annabella Zapata.
Yep.
I think it's a family thing.
Popular last name.
I think it might be a family thing. So finished 19th, and Alicia, who we've talked about a lot, Galvez is 25th, and a newcomer, another soccer player, Magali Dialba, also had her first race, and she was only a minute behind the 2 that were going to state. So you got 3 really good ones. So they put 2 more together. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Legacy's playing no joke over here for cross country.
They're making it happen. So great job to Coach Arguello and Coach Hall Martinez for what they do over there with that team. Coach Alvarez and everybody else. Great job by all of them, and we're very excited about what's coming up.
Yeah.
So Very excited. Very excited about talking who we're going to talk to today.
Oh man, listen, we might go over a little bit of time, people, because we got a very special guest, our newest board trustee, and of course somebody that everybody in the district knows, the voice of Southwest ISD, our man James Gonzalez. How we doing,
Big game,
sir?
James.
I am doing good, real good. Thanks for having me, guys.
And hey, thank you for waiting on Wagner to get here for a long time. You know what I mean?
I like the fact that I can just sit back and just watch y'all two go at each other.
You've shown the
I'm getting a
patience.
kick out of it right now.
You've shown great patience.
You should have seen him when he was in high school on the football field. He
go.
had all the time in the
We
world to
already
go.
talked about
He had
that
all
when
the
you
time
weren't
in the
here.
world to go
Waiting
back and
for you.
forth. It's not like he was doing anything.
Goodness gracious.
Brandon, where's the water at?
I said, let me go talk off one of your players for quitting real quick, Coach, before I get the water.
Yeah. Hey, he looks like he's down. Go talk to James.
Go talk to James. Yeah. No, James, how are we doing, man? We're doing well?
Doing good. Oh man, I'm excited for tomorrow. In football season.
Football
I know
season.
I like all the sports, but football season, that's the big one. That's the one I like.
Did you see the write-up in the paper on the 8 best stadiums in the?
I have not.
Did you not see that?
No.
Well, the only problem with it is they mixed it up. They put the write-up under the complex at SAISD, but it's a really good write-up
Gotta check
and
that
stuff.
out.
They're also talking about the food that we have at the games. You know, the soccer team
street
got
tacos?
the street tacos
There
got
you
another
go.
shout out in the paper.
There you
Of
go.
course.
You know, from the concession stand to the street tacos, the eclectic taste at Southwest
There you
at the
go.
Dragon's Den.
Oh, with the word like eclectic, you know Wagner wasn't writing that article for sure.
I was studying this week, man.
But with that, no, James, listen, man, we appreciate you stopping by, being here. How's it been now, being on the other side of things as a board member now, sir? You told me lots of luncheons, lots of
luncheons.
lots
I
of
just
busy
came
days.
from one right now. I came straight over here, so yeah, I'm about to fall asleep here after
I'm glad we
waiting
didn't.
for Pete to get here. So
I'm
yeah.
glad we didn't cater some food for you. So
Yeah,
we
no,
would
I'm
have
good. I'm good.
catered in. But talk to me about over the years, and what have you learned from this district? You're a graduate of the district, right?
Yes, I am.
Watching your kids go through the district.
Played with the Heisman Trophy winner.
Played with just a Heisman, nothing crazy, just a Heisman
Just a
Trophy.
Heisman Trophy, yeah.
But-
Being a graduate up in class of '88, he graduated in '87. So yes.
Good old Ty Detmer. Well,
yes.
with that, all the years, I mean, talk to us a little bit about how much the district has grown, what stayed the same, the people you get to see that still come back to the games and still come back to this community.
The fact that I never stopped going to the games. When I graduated in '88, I continued to go to games after games, year in and year out. My wife and I would go to games and seeing the same people, seeing new people. The stadium, I mean, love the stadium. You can't, I mean, just what Coach Wagner is just saying right now, you can't beat the stadium when you come in and people, it's our hidden gem. When they come in, it's like, well, where's the stadium?
And we're getting a new press box
walk
in that
up,
stadium.
Yeah, and now we're getting a new press
Which will
box.
benefit
Thanks
you
to the
greatly,
thanks
sir.
to the
I'm
voters.
very happy about
Yeah.
that. Thanks to the
Yeah,
voters.
you don't have to worry about
And, I tell you what,
AC.
I'm giddy when I talk about the progress of the way the district is going and the way that of course the stadium. I mean, that's our hidden gem back there. So
Absolutely.
yeah, just very proud to be here. Very proud to be in a part now in a different capacity. Besides just being the district announcer, I was like, oh, I just love it.
Man, so talk to me. How did you fall into this? You said you've been doing since 2011, right?
Since
Wagner's been there
2011.
for 18 years. He told us off here, which I did not know.
Actually, I mean, like I was sitting at home. I mean, I had been doing stuff with the foundation that I had for my daughter, and got a call. Versa gave me a call and said, "Hey, why don't you see if we can come out and call some games for the Dragons?" I said, "Yeah, I think I can do that. Junior
Yeah.
varsity, no biggie." I was like, "Okay." So coming to, I was on a community foundation, one of our foundations out here as a community member, and one of our board members, Mr. Frazier, is like, "Hey, James, how's it going?" He goes, "Hey, I heard from a little birdie." He goes, "You're the new voice of the Dragons." I was like, "What? No, I didn't hear that." So he goes, "Yeah, you got to go back there. Make sure you go talk to the AD." It was Wagner at the time, and I walked in. He's like, "Hey, congratulations, you're the new voice of the Dragons." I was like, "What? No, not even."
What a
But
great
yeah.
interview, right?
But that was it.
What a good interview.
Yeah.
Hey, so this is your job. I don't know
This
if
is
you
my
know.
job, yeah. And
By
then
the
it
way,
come-
don't be late.
Yeah.
They opened the season up against O'Connor at home the following my first year, and I was like, I was in shock, of course. I mean, the fans and stuff, but ever since then, it's been an awesome journey.
That's all. And you've seen
Awesome journey,
and,
yeah.
and you've seen the ups, the downs, everything in
yeah,
between.
yeah.
Very much so. Just from going to all the games throughout the year, you were telling me about how you mentioned you met a couple that the guy was a running back in '94.
Yeah, I was. Matter of fact, my daughter's in swim over here at the aquatic center, and she was in a competition, swim competition, saw some parents, and she had another couple with her, and I was like, well, who's that couple that's with you? She goes, oh, those are my in-laws. And I was like, no way. I said, so your husband is Chris Rodriguez. I have to mention his name, and running back in '94, and I saw him all 4 years, and
wow,
it just to see that it really is a family atmosphere out here that you just at the convocation we were talking about it. I mean, we have so many people that are coming back to be teachers here and coaches here, especially coaches. I mean, it's an awesome deal.
Well, then you have people, even Coach Wagner, who I feel like maybe didn't go to school here, but after so long, you take on that almost personality and that belief that, like, hey, this is Southwest ISD pride, and you buy into it. And I don't know if it's the location of Southwest ISD, I don't know if it's the people of Southwest ISD, if it's a mixture of both. But even for you, I mean, someone who graduated late 80s, going to all the games still, finally getting an opportunity to call the games. I mean, you never stop being a proud, in your case, Southwest Dragon, right? And so I think it's super powerful to talk about. I know you guys have known each other for a long time. I have plenty of stories. I'll have to talk about kind of your first thoughts of Coach Wagner over here, and kind of your interpretation of how the game plans went and stuff back in those days, man. I mean, when you started calling things.
We go way back. I mean, of course, we have stories outside of football that we talk about that we can't really talk about it right now.
Of course.
Which isn't even at that. But oh my gosh, no, it's been fun times having Coach Wagner on the helm. Oh, awesome times.
So
awesome.
I'll tell you one that just comes to mind as we're talking about Ty Detmer. So in 2000, probably the second, third year, something like that. So Ty Detmer, James was kind of coming around still at that time and everything, and so he's down there, but so he runs a little camp, right? So we're running this camp with Ty and everything, and you remember that, right?
Yes.
And so before we're gonna play this game, and I think we're playing Jay, maybe something like that, and we're gonna retire his number and do all of this kind of stuff and everything, and so all of a sudden, whoever's up there in the box or something like that, somebody's like, hey, we need Ty wants a football or a bunch of footballs to give to a couple of kids or da-da-da-da-da, right, and stuff like that. Grab some of your football. I'm the offense coordinator, but I'm the ball guy. Like, it takes time to, like, get those balls and make them, like, make them tacky and, like, scrub them down, do all that kind of stuff, right? So, like, hey, he needs a ball to throw up in the crowd. And I'm like, what? No. Like, he's like, nah. Coach Yo's like, give him a ball. Hurry up. And he's like, get that one. I was like, are you kidding? That's a – yes, sir. Here you go.
Yeah.
Boom, tosses up, and I was like, oh.
There goes one of the balls.
Where'd all the balls go? And like, remember, you owe me a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least one. At least the one.
And then I did it to Legacy last year. I was like, when we had at the Fire and Armor Bowl, remember we decided we're gonna drop the ball we're gonna drop the ball from probably, I think it was your idea, your great idea. We're gonna drop the ball from a drone from like 300. I thought we were gonna drop it from like 200 feet. Like not even 200 feet. Like I thought it was gonna be like above his head and be like boop, and he's gonna catch it. So we got these punt, pass, and kick kids. I'm like, hey dude, come here. You're going to catch the ball. Hey, and I started seeing that thing floating like this. The drone's way up there. And I'm like, oh, this might not be
even I was like, I don't know.
I was like, I don't think I could. Exactly. I'm looking at Brandon like, I don't know if I could catch that thing. So that ball came down, and that ball dropped, and I was like, and that kid got scared. I was like, no, just get away, dude.
James couldn't see it from the press box.
And so I did it. So Coach Camo and them, Coach Camo at Legacy is the one that does the footballs usually and stuff like that. And so I was like, I told Coach Cooper, I was like, I said, you're going to have to tell Camo I got to take a ball. And he kind of looked at me like, I ain't telling that dude you're taking one of his footballs and stuff. And I was like, I've been there. Yeah. But here you go, kiddo.
That's fun.
There you go.
Any stories stick out to you? You were mentioning about Steven Salinas that you.
Steven Salinas. Well, every time we're with Steven Salinas, of course, we kind of mention the big
bring
game.
Up the old
always
got
to bring up the big game in the Alamo Dome against Judson. And just recently, we had Coach Rackley come back to do a.
He's talking to our coaches.
Talk to the coaches, and we actually introduced him to Coach Rackley at that time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did. Me and Sullivan, we introduced him. It was like,
okay.
Of course, Sullivan was telling
him. What did Coach Rackley say? Did Coach Rackley say?
He just kind of nodded his head. Just kind of smiled about it, and kind of gritted his teeth, and he just kind of just like, okay, yeah, I know who he is.
That's funny.
You know that I'll tell you a more behind the scenes story of that thing too. You know, the next year, we get a move-in kid, Rodney Rice, and he's gonna play defensive line for us. He was the kid that tackled Steven.
No.
Absolutely true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, Stephen Himman and I need to have a sit down on this podcast. Let's talk about what could have been. But
Yeah.
you've seen some very, very talented players play over here at Dragon Stadium.
Yes.
You've seen some more talented players over there at Legacy and all that good stuff. But I mean, talk to me about kind of the talent level that you've seen come through Southwest, whether it be on the other side of the ball or here at home. Kind of the joy that you get to kind of see these guys develop over years. And then some of them go pro, some of them go collegiate. I mean, you've seen a lot of really exciting games and exciting talent over decades.
The one thing I noticed, especially with the Dragons, because over the years that I've been doing their games, is the talent of running backs. We just have a multitude of running backs that just continue to come, no matter year in and year out.
Yeah,
and that's just amazing to see. And now, like going over to watch Legacy, it's totally opposite. That offense is like wide open now. So. Quarterbacks that have come in, especially the quarterbacks that we had a couple years ago, and now the quarterback that have this year, I'm excited to see just how far and how good we're going to be continuing to do the things we do.
Yeah.
Outside of football, put you on the spot, or anything. What's your top 5 memories of
Southwest
ISD athletics?
One, the Justin game, of course, back in.
I feel sorry for Steven. We go anywhere with Steven, and you get around a bunch of
he has
coaches.
to
I'm
hear
pretty
about
sure
this.
there was like 20,000 people in the stands because we were the later game. I think we were the late game that day, weren't we?
Yeah.
And so we played right after Marcus Wright played when Marcus Wright was playing Seguin, and Seguin had all those dudes that were going to like Oklahoma and stuff like that, and then Marcus Wright was going to Georgia Tech, and so we played right after that game. And everything. So it was like that game, there's already a bunch of people, and then they stayed, and then it was a good game. So like the whole lower bowl was full. And then like people were coming to the next level.
That's I've met Steven a few times. What
year
anywhere,
was that game? 2007. We were undefeated.
Yeah, so I remember David Ellis, dude. David Ellis tells me about it all the time. Too. David, I was like, man, dude, Steven, bad dude.
Go through without talking about that game. The other game that sticks in my mind is the game we had in Fire and Armor Bowl, where the Dragons were down. The Dragons ended up losing that game at the time.
Oh, in overtime.
Alamo Dome?
No, it wasn't the Alamo Dome. It was Fire Number Bowl 3 down in Dragon Stadium.
Yes, that one, the overtime.
When they
one.
scored with no time left, threw it to
left,
Mackay. When they threw it to Mackay after they scored, then boom, they tie it up in a 2-minute drill.
Exactly, and then
Homer Flores houses it.
Sure did. And then the same thing, the one at the Alamo Dome, where it went down to the wire, and that
was a fun one.
The Dragons,
that was
game.
COVID.
The one game that sticks out of my mind. I mean, I know you're not gonna like this one, but your last game against O'Connor.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still don't talk to that official.
That game was the best game, one of the best games I've ever seen, and we had that game when they called us for a holding. There was a non-call holding call penalty that should have never happened, and we could have been going on to the next round.
Yeah.
And that was your last game.
Mm-hmm.
That one was stick. I mean, I know it sticks in your mind, but that I was right there. See it happen.
He has to just dig in those scars a little bit.
Sorry.
At least he didn't bring up the Harlingen game.
Oh no.
Anything else, just as a community member, that kind of sticks out to you from some of those great memories? I know even your wife is also an alumni. I mean,
we can't forget selling out the UT Stadium like it's all Southwest.
Yes.
Like we're playing the Woodlands.
I was gonna get back to that. I was gonna stick with football. The one year we played South San, I think it was.
No, that was that '98 game, right? That I hear about all the time.
Was that Elliott's game? No, it was. I think Elliott was here. Were we? No, maybe it wasn't. I think we were both 10-0 that year. At the end of the season.
Was like '98. I think that was Elwood's senior year.
We played against South San here at the stadium.
There was like people like stacked up on the hill.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
Back, we were both undefeated that year. District game, and we ended up winning that game. Yeah, man. And then of course, I mean, you can't forget. Team 22.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is the
class of 2014, baby.
10-year.
This is the 10-year
Yep.
And stuff
sure
of
your boy was there.
Elizabeth Fields Phillips throwing it from center field to home. And
hey, shout out to Liz. That's my homie. I see her all the time. She's about to have a baby.
Yep.
Good for her. But anyways, we talk about that all the time, and that was a great moment.
The greatest part about that though was before the game. You know what I mean? Was like. There's like all these the Woodlands people there like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And then here comes like 8 buses that Dr. Versa's put them all on there. Let's go.
I came off with a war paint.
And they're like, no, we can't sell you all those tickets. And Dr. Versa like whips out he's like, I got it. Let's go. We'll take care of it later. Everybody, let's go. and stuff like that. So those kids are going in and stuff like that, and they're like, well, they all can't go until we seat the Woodlands. So the Woodlands is like in this little sliver, and then this little section behind third base, and the entire stands is Southwest.
And outfield was Southwest.
And that year, during that team, that wasn't even like a football thing yet. That's when we first started doing the powder stuff in the crowd. We started painting the faces.
That was all James too. The what is it?
The powder.
Yeah.
We had
awesome.
that one, but you had a couple of songs on there that like Jaden and you and all those dudes
would start hyping up.
They'd start hyping it up.
No, it was a fun time, man. It was incredible moments. I mean, James knows me personally. Didn't call my name very much at all back in the day, but
hey, we always had parent night, dude. Senior night.
That's right.
I had to call you twice.
A few times. Just at least the intros.
Hey, and we always made sure when you were senior, you were a captain at least once.
100%. But with that, man, we were talking about just a few, just going back and forth, and me and James were talking about he was like, yeah, and I was telling him, I was like, man, me and Wagner are so happy that we're able to do this now, coming full circle from being a player and coach to now you're athletic director, and now we're all here. And so I was telling them, I said, I remember, even Mr. Chris, our assistant superintendent of finance and business. And so, I mean, Bo and Chris, his son, was our quarterback. And I remember I was telling James, man, dude, I said, coach, put me at right tackle because our right tackle got hurt. And he was like, hey, dude, you're not the strongest, you're not the fastest, but you know the plays, and that's half the battle. He was like, you're gonna be in the right position. And I go, he lined me up at still against some dude who was going to Texas, and I remember going in the huddle and being like, Bowen, go left because this right side's not gonna get blocked. So I was like, there's so much memory here, and I mean, just focusing on kind of the stars of today, right? This new unit with the Peanut Butter Bowl tomorrow for Southwest and for Legacy. Talk to me first, Wagner, about what are your kind of expectations for football this year? What are you looking forward to with this first game? What are you looking to see from the Dragons? We'll start first, and then we'll go to Legacy.
I think on the Dragons side, they're very there's high expectations at the skill positions. There's no doubt. It's very. I told somebody, and I don't want to. You said don't jinx it a little bit, but in 2008 in 2009, and you'll remember this too when we beat Steele. On TV that time, we started that entire secondary we had Aaron Kelly ran a 47 quarter at the state track meet. You had Steven Lasavita at safety, who also just threw touchdown passes. He used to say, he ran a 50 quarter. He was on the state mile relay team. Then you had Felix, who I was just talking to this morning and stuff. You had Felix playing the other safety. He was our other quarterback. And on the other side, you had Julius. Julius was about a 6'2".
Goodness.
He was 6'2" corner that could
Not many
roll.
of those coming around.
No, but even better, he was a 2-time, went to state twice in the high jump, was a 6'10", almost 7-foot high jumper.
Wow.
And then in the inside linebacker, you had Adrian Guerra, and then Adrian was crazy. And then you had Terrence, who was our block leg in the mile relay, ran a 48 block leg quarter. And then on the outside linebacker, you had
goodness.
And this is 2009. Yeah, 2008 we had Paris on the other side, and Julius wasn't even on the field yet and stuff like that. And so we had some serious skill dudes. Like we probably put about 4 or 5 guys on the field at a time and stuff. And that was with Steve, and that was with Trey at running back, and we had a couple others in 2009, and then 2008 that same crew, but we had Paris and we had Patrick and we had couple other ones that were in there and our defensive line was all about 6 foot. And that was with Herbert and and Braulio Sepulveda, and I think Caesar was a sophomore maybe at that time, freshman. And they were all about they're about between 5'11" and 6'2" and about 250, 260 and could go and everything. And this group, not the defensive line, but the secondary, the skill set, that they're young, but they have that they have some savvy, you know what I mean? And like you look at Z Voss, who's a junior, he did the whole camp circuit. He's done the 7-on-7. He can make plays like crazy, playing safety, but he caught a touchdown pass against Holmes last week. Then you turn around, you got Tyson Dean, who he made somebody miss ugly against Holmes.
And he made plays as a junior, and now as a senior.
And then we got a running back, and Charles Stemley, who housed it last week. We went 80 to the house against Holmes. You got a young one also, John Mills. I mean, like they're.
You also got some height. They're
all,
Tristan,
and then you got Tim Alage at quarterback.
Yeah.
And then you got Tristan Denny on the D line. That's got he's got a David Ellis motor.
Yes, dude.
And stuff like that. And so, and all those dudes play running back. You know what I mean?
They all play running
And
back.
so when it's time to run kick, you talk about in being here 18 years is like we started running kick the third or fourth game. When we're about to play East Central. Is when we and the full disclosure, Coach Bradford's the one who pretty much started. We drew up kick. Coach Bradford's the one that brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When we started doing it, because we keep talking about history, but in 2006 when we started running kick, our offensive line looked like Michigan. I mean, like where our left Luna, and sorry, Mr. But he works for us right now. He's one of our maintenance guys that really helps out a bunch. And so he was our left tight end, and then you had Shane Ory. Then we had left guard was Bermudez, who was the smallest one, like 240. And then we had Huron, not Josh, Sam. We had Sam Huron at center, and we had Justin Hemby at right guard, who's like 6'3" and 270. Our right tackle is in maintenance as well. Big Mondo.
Yeah.
Big Mondo is our right tackle. He was like 6'3", 315, and ran like a running back. And then our right right tight end was Stanley Torres. I see Stanley Torres at the Big Wolf Market all the time.
That's why you can't ask him about history. This
And
just goes
6'3",
crazy.
320, dude.
Yeah.
And then we had Tyler Kierstead, who was like 205 and stuff. We used to call him the quarter guard and stuff. And then we had Jamar and
what was that one play that he would toss it back and he'd be like the lead blocker?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
What?
That's why we called him.
There you go.
Before everybody was wearing this is the best one, and then I'll get back to this year's group. But the before they did all the Under Armour stuff, the tight neoprene, and stuff like that, this dude would walk out in a white undershirt and stuff, like the muscle shirt. Yeah, that. And he'd walk out and be like, "Look at this redneck Under Armour right here."
Hey, that's all I need.
This man was in his pants, and like Coach Elliott didn't care about like what everybody like. We get off the bus sometimes looking like the Gridiron Gang or
that's awesome.
or like the Longest Yard something. And so Tyler walk off, and we had James Carr and those guys, and he'd walk off the bus, and we're like, "Holy moly!" And so we line all those dudes up. We're huge, and that's where it came from. But Southwest this year has like 3 or 4 running backs that can just – but then, like I said, they play homes, and they put them out wide like we used to. Yeah. And they threw – I think they threw 5 touchdown passes last week and ran 2 in, and probably like 6 or 7 different people scored and stuff. Tim Alage had 2 touchdowns. I think A.J. Franco had 2 touchdown passes. I mean, it was all over the place.
And with that, James, talk to me a little bit about, you said you talked to the coaches that you want to be a coach for a long time, so you like to get in their mindsets a little bit.
Well, I mean, that was my whole thing. Well, going out of high school, I wanted to be a coach. So having this gig as far as doing the announcing, it's like the next best thing. So now what I do, I like to prep for the games, and come Wednesday and Thursday, I kind of try to make a visit to go see Coach Franco, and I haven't yet to go see Coach Bruce, and I'll do that next week, but I like to kind of get in the mindset of like, hey, Coach, what are we looking at? How are we looking? What's our feel for the season? And they'll be honest with me, and they'll let me know how it's looking and how we're going to progress, and how they feel we might have a slow start or we'll get it going. I was like, no, we got the guys. We're going to do it. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to go talk to Coach Bruce next week. I still need to. I've talked to Franco here just off and on real quick, but I'll still have to sit down with him for tomorrow night's game. So. Yeah, I was able to do last week's game with the Titans, and they were kind of feisty when they went up against Somerset. Of course, they had their on hands with the coaches, and they went through their plays. But once they got into that live quarter, oh man, all holds barred. I mean, they really brought it. And I was looking. There's that stud linebacker. I don't know who he is, but he stood out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Ross Kid, I think, right? Yeah, he's also the running back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I saw him and a couple of players that looked pretty sharp, and our quarterback's out, so I'm looking forward to.
I think he's on the. I think he's on the Aaron Rodgers plan right now. He sat out the preseason.
Fabian Ramos.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. He's a talented dude.
Yeah.
I had to bring up Aaron Rodgers.
Come on, this guy. This guy.
But
you did it.
Anyway,
you did it yourself.
I did it to myself. I know.
With that, is there anything you kind of go through before we go to kind of legacies outlook? is there any certain way you prep for games now that this is your what, your 13th year now?
13th year.
Yeah, so now 13th year calling games. Is there any luck of the trade that you do? Anything you have to eat this before a call? You have to do that? Anything like that?
Before I used to get like super nervous. Now like
superstitions and anything like that.
The Thursday nights I kind of like tonight I'll go and I'll type out everything I need to do and pretty much. But I make sure that when I get off on work on Fridays I take me a good 3-hour nap. And,
there you go.
And wake up
and don't call him when he's taking a nap. He gets all grumpy.
I'll answer when I get up, and then pretty much. I'm an early bird, so I usually get to the game at anywhere from 4:45, 5 o'clock, and I'm in the press box by myself. I just go over the game plan as far as what needs to be announced and stuff like that. And just,
And it's very helpful because he keeps us on schedule and like, hey, what about? Oh, yeah, let me get that.
Yeah, I'll do my little ritual. I'll go talk to the coaches.
Yeah.
They'll give me the paperwork, and then I'll go talk to the refs, see with them real fast, and just kind of go over stuff and just get ready for the game.
I know our boy Matt Campos is always excited to see you in the booth and get over there too. So he's always talking about he's ready for football season. And talk to me about, I guess, before we go to Legacy, what do you think is so unique about Texas high school football? I mean, Wagner, you come from Wisconsin and kind of looking at that. What is it about Texas high school football, San Antonio, that grit, that Southside grit? What is it about it that just, that stadium is going to be packed tomorrow, and it's going to be packed for Legacy too at 10 a.m. in the morning Saturday too, because Burbank's there.
Hey, what's wrong with tacos and football?
That's right. But what do you think is
it's the pride, it's tradition. I mean, just like you said, at the beginning of the show, just kind of like, hey, we're already they're talking about our stadium. I mean, it's just the pride of tradition of that each one, like it's the generation of somebody playing, like your son, like I played football, my son played football, their son playing football. It's the tradition of Texas football is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Wagner's over here rattling off names from 15 years ago, 12 years ago.
You have guys like, we can't wait till like mid-July when the Texas Campbell Football Magazine comes out.
Yeah.
And just like you want to see where you're ranked or see how they're talking about you, and that's a tradition as itself, making sure you get that copy. That magazine, yeah.
I think to finish off Southwest, offensively, I feel like if their offensive line comes around, Coach Franco and I are sitting there watching yesterday on the field, and I was like, well, the line seems to be hitting them in the mouth and stuff. Defensively, I think it's going to be okay. Who's going to show up? Who's going to take care of business? And who's going to tackle in space and get it done? And that's going to be I think that's probably going to be the key to the whole thing.
Well, tomorrow your Southwest Dragons take on Lockhart here at Southwest Dragon Stadium. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Make sure you get here early. Say hi to James Gonzalez up there in the booth. He's going to be waving down to you.
How about Joe Marsh? I can't believe you didn't talk about your spotter, man.
Oh, man.
I mean, you want to talk about a legend.
There's a legend in itself. Yeah, no, he stopped doing that. When we had COVID, unfortunately, once COVID came, we had to kind of spread ourselves up there, so. He hasn't been doing that for a couple of years, so.
Coach Marsh, you just got called out.
I did not do that.
Don't start something now. Well, with that, let's talk about Legacy a little bit, Coach Wagner. What are we thinking Legacy is going to be looking like? Obviously, we mentioned Fabian Ramos a little bit, some linebackers, some defense. I mean, obviously, a lot of the guys that I played football with, Cooper, De La Rosa, all those guys, De La Cruz, over there. They're coaches now.
Yep.
I was talking with them. We went to go interview and do a Beyond the Arches, which you can find on YouTube for both training programs and both football programs. And they told me, too, that they're really excited. They think they have a really good shot at having a really good squad. And Coach Bruce seemed amped up, hyped up. I haven't seen Coach Bruce was giddy. I mean, hyped up, excited, was talkative, was like, man, what do you need? What do you need? And I was like, man, Coach Bruce is excited.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
I was like, find out what's going on.
I was like, that water is extra. That water is extra cold.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, dude, I talked to him. I was like, all right.
About Coach Bruce.
Yeah. And then you got Cooper, which is just Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
Just yelling.
Cooper's always
hype.
Yeah.
And so, and every time I see Cooper, man, he's always like, oh, it's good to see you, baby. I'm like, what's up, dog? And so, but, no, talk to me about Legacy. What's the excitement between Legacy? Beautiful stadium. Right now we're in what, year 6, year 7 of Legacy?
I think, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, here we are. We're approaching that decade mark, and they've had a lot to show for. A lot of great stuff happening.
2 district championships.
Yeah,
been to the playoffs. They're on their own run, I think, right now. 4 or 5 years in a row in the playoffs and stuff like that. So I mean, tradition is continuing to build as well. I mean, obviously the whole thing. We're at the scrimmage the other night with Somerset and really good competition. I was proud of the way our kids handled themselves when when it got a little testy
Yeah,
and
got very
everything.
testy.
But I was proud of our kids, the way they chose to handle and respond to some of that.
Yep.
But at the end, I think the heart of that team is Fabian. And, they're talking at the end, and he got up there like a coach and was talking. You know what I mean? And so I think having them inserted into that lineup will just be when they get into the huddle this week, when they get up there on Saturday morning ready to roll, they're going to see him, and it's going to be like that little extra
Yep.
juice. You know what I mean? But you got Coach Bruce's son, Big Germs, at right tackle, trying to be like Brandon Medina, but way better.
Way better.
But,
Actually talented.
You know what I mean? With talent.
With talent, yes.
But you got him. You got JoJo at wide receiver. They got a couple other wide receivers that are going to be pretty good. But like you said, the young kid from Resnick, Mr. Ross, he had some good runs. But, man, he comes off the edge, too, as a linebacker, and he gets it done as well. They got a big move in, Coach Rodriguez's son, number 9. Sorry, I don't remember his first name right now. Yeah. But he's a – did you see him last week?
I did.
When he cackled that kid?
I did, yes.
He straight up took a kid, power cleaned him, and then put him down on the ground, and not nicely.
Wow.
And stuff. And it was like, oh, that was nice. Okay, then. I mean, he sticks out when you see him, and so he was a good infusion of talent as well. So, they're always going to be well coached.
Yeah.
They're always going to Coach Black, Coach Bruce, Coach Flowers. Coach. We got a new defensive coordinator, Coach De La Rosa. All those guys they're phenomenal men, but they're really good coaches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Great coaches as well. Cooper, Dela Cruz, all those dudes, and so. Really excited about
It's a good
about
group,
it,
man, on both sides. It
and
really is.
and we talk about family. You got Coach Bradford, who was here with Coach Valles a long time ago. He was probably coaching almost in that '98 game, I think. I was looking out yesterday. We had both of them yesterday. We had the Rise of the Titans, where they do their decals and stuff, and I was over there talking to them, and then we did Light Your Fire last night at the mall at Dragon Stadium, and like
that's awesome.
You feel you feel the family atmosphere. You had Coach Black or Mr. Black talking to him yesterday, and but you go to Southwest, and I look out, and there's and my wife and I were talking, and I got to coach Ellis, I got to coach Steven, I got to coach Cooper, I got to coach Dela Cruz. I got to, these guys come back, and we still got, we have one from the 2018 class now, Paul Patina at Scobie and stuff like that. I mean, there's probably almost 10 coaches that played over the last 10, 15, 20 years that come back, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what you want. That's what we're trying to build, and those kids see them. So they had like Gabe Luna come up, who was number 50, played in the 98 team, I think 97, in that range. They all came up and talked about what it was to be a Dragon. You know what I mean? And Legacy's getting to that point now where they come back and stuff. And so that's pretty neat.
It is. And James, talk to me a little bit. I mean, you and Coach Bruce, of course, you got to talk to him for the game plan for this week. But overall, what has it been like working with Coach Bruce, working with that team, and what are you expecting for this year?
It's funny because he's really low key.
He is.
He's really low key, but it's like in the press box, we get so hyped up when he gets fired up. We kind of freak out. It's like, oh, there he goes. When he goes off, it's like there's no holding him back. It's like we love to see that. So when he gets fired up, that team just ignites that much more. So, yeah, he's really low key and just very soft spoken. But I tell you what, he knows the game inside and out.
He's I feel like a good word would be just like tactical. The dude he's so inclined to be like, I don't need to get this hype yet because the job's not done. Let's wait till we get to this level. So I mean, yeah, he is. When we talk to them every Fine Armor Bowl, I try to have him and I try to have Coach Franco on, and every time I'm always like, oh, here we go. Like it's gonna, and they're both so good at being like they're not breaking for anybody, right?
Yeah.
Especially each other, and so they're so good at being poised in those stressful situations. And I mean, I have much respect for both of them. But what's kind of your interpretation of the team they got over there? You saw a little bit of them from Holmes. You heard a little bit from Holmes. So what are you thinking for this year? What are you excited about to go check out at Legacy?
The way they score, it's like do little plays here and there, but then next thing you know, it's like boom, they're going to the house within seconds. I mean, they're just the wide open offense that they have is awesome to see.
Yeah,
and you just know it's coming. It's like, when is it going to happen? Is it going to happen this play, or is it going to happen the next play?
But they can be methodical too.
Exactly.
Like you look at the Vets game, at the end when they took up the whole quarter.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff.
They did. They took
up the entire quarter right at the end of the Vets game, and so they can do. They're very multifaceted.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, I know we've been going over time a little bit with that because we have a lot to share, and I feel like this is one of many times we're going to ask you to come on, sir, because you got plenty of stories. Mr. Gonzalez.
No problem. Awesome. This is awesome times.
But with that, before we go, any last words for the community? You as a board member now, anything you want to share? Anything you want to share about the experience? Anything like that?
No, just special times out here at Southwest. We've always talked family, and that's one thing you will see. Like, we've just been talking about all the coaches that come back, and when you see these coaches, you see their families coming out. Legacy. I'm there. All the coaches, all the wives and girlfriends are sitting right in front of us, and it's like that section's growing because their family's growing. Mm-hmm. And seeing that, it just when we're and I want to do a shout out to you, Coach, for adding to our family with the hiring of Coach JB and Coach Lisa. I mean, as coordinators for the district. God love them women. I mean, I think they're going to be very good for us, and kudos to you for doing that. That's going to be awesome for the girls programs, both at Southwest and at Legacy.
They're phenomenal leaders. Yes. We're very excited and very blessed to have them.
Which we had on at the start of the show for this new
great
semester.
Kickoff.
Great kickoff. And now we have our board member, James Gonzalez, the voice of Southwest ISD. We're on to a big start right now.
Man. Yeah, man. It's like, I feel like we might be starting, like, we're setting the bar pretty high.
We're setting the bar pretty high.
And for, you get into that November, December, January lull, we're going to have to really, figure that stuff out.
To you guys, I look forward to maybe doing this at the Fire and Armor Bowl live.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, my boy, I was at the volleyball game the other night. Riley Smith was like, man, we need to do like a game day for blah blah blah. Like, I was like, man, we did that once.
Yeah,
so it was pretty good.
We'll talk about it this year. We definitely need to make something happen. But you'll be asked to be on it, sir. So be ready.
I'll be on it.
I think that he should be Lee Corso.
Yes. You put the helmet on.
He's gonna put the helmet on.
You got the mascot head.
I don't think he can do that. He's a board member.
He can't do it. We can't.
I'll pick other games around the city.
It's all friendly competition. That's what we have to talk about. We don't favor one group over the other. But with that, no, we appreciate you guys listening. If you made it past Pete Wagner reading out some names that maybe you couldn't pronounce, we appreciate you. If you made it past some of the stories, but for real though, if you are a listener and you heard somebody share it with them, share it with their family. If you're an old football player and heard your name, if you talked about old coaches, anything, make sure you share the podcast, man. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube, anywhere you can find podcasts. We're there. Just search up Scoreboard. We very, very much appreciate you guys.
I feel like I should get a little bit of a shot. I just named the entire offensive line from 2006.
That was insane. You're just a walking SWISD encyclopedia. But
Andy De La Rosa's like, who is this?
What's going on?
Hi, Andy.
But we appreciate you guys for listening. As always, every week, this is Scoreboard, your number one podcast for all things Southwest ISD athletics. For your board trustee, James Gonzalez, and myself, Brandon Medina and Peter Wagner. We're going to take off. We'll see you next week. Big games tomorrow, Friday, for the Dragons, and Saturday morning for the Legacy Titans. Make sure you're out there. Support locals. Support your student athletes because they work their tail off. So we're very much happy to celebrate them here on the show. And with that, like always, we are
Southwest.